Okay, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever the case may be. Take yourself a comfortable seated posture on a chair, on a cushion, on a blanket. And just a short meditation before we do some asana practice. So we'll start with Raja Yoga and then we'll do some Hatha Yoga. Closing your eyes once you're comfortable. Do make sure you're warm. So just giving you time to get a comfortable seat, making sure you're warm, and closing your eyes. And just settling in, taking your attention to the felt experience within your body. That includes the flow of the breath. And just noticing, without any harsh judgment, how your body's feeling. Maybe heavy, maybe light, maybe some achy bits, some comfortable bits. Uncomfortable or comfortable doesn't matter to that is simply observing. So be the observer and welcome everything with a little smile. The foundation of our practice is loving kindness. So relax a little more into whatever is, which includes acknowledging the quality of your mind at the moment. What are the quality of the thoughts that are running through the mind? And again, welcoming them, whether they're good thoughts or not such good thoughts, happy thoughts, sad thoughts, busy thoughts, calm thoughts, doubt or agitation, anxiety or concern, or relaxed and chilled out. Whatever's arising is simply the truth of this moment, and it's not fixed forever. So our practice takes us beyond the old habit patterns of mind. So again, smile at whatever's arising in your mind. The dramas, the stories, I call them the days of our lives, or the bold and beautiful thoughts that come and go. So relaxing your physical body, relaxing the mental body. Acknowledging the room you're in, the sounds around you. Good, and gently bring your palms together to the heart space. Let's join together for 3 ohms. And breathing in. And keeping the chest bone lifted towards your thumbs, gently bring the chin towards the chest. Surrendering the head mind to the heart mind. And practice is to bring a quietening of the mind so that the awareness can be floating to the surface, simply being present to whatever is. So we'll do a little physical movement. Please move in a way that suits you, that feels good. If I do something that's not enough or too much, then you moderate, because we're obviously not in class physically together for me to come around and adjust and assist. So go with what feels good. There might be still a little bit of chainsaw action in the background. Some of the neighbours are still clearing from their house site where the fires have come through. So it's a great practice of patience, equanimity, pratyahara, so the quietening of the reaction to whatever's coming in through the sense doors. So what a wonderful practice, what a beautiful day. So let us start. Maybe just stay seated, and again you can see I'm on a little bit of a blanket here, so feel free to grab a little bit of extra height. And I've taken the legs a little wider, like an Upavista Konasana, but I've bent my left knee. So keeping the left knee bent, so I'm rolling onto the top of the foot. If that's a little strong, bring the foot forward. If that's a little strong, feel free to put like a bolster or something here under the knee. So if there's any pain, adjust. Give yourself enough support. So we'll sit nice and tall and twist towards the bent knee. Just give a little walk forward. And as you come forward, that's okay just to let that straight leg hip come up. And in fact, you could just give it a little bit of a rock. So I'm not keeping my belly turned towards the front. You're trying to lift and turn your belly. So if you bring your finger into your belly button, you're really trying to turn that lower belly towards the bent knee. Some of you might come further forward, stretch. Try and release then that raised leg hip down, but turn the belly towards the bent leg inner thigh. And feel free to stay with a little bit of a jiggle or a rock if that feels good for you. And then we'll just slowly walk our way around. You'll find that as you come around to the center, you actually have to come up a little bit higher. And some of you might be able to come further forward, stretching forward. And again, feel free to give a little rock. Now both sit bones are on the ground, on your blanket. You can press the back of the straight leg heel down, lift the chest and relax the shoulders. A few easy breaths. And then walking all the way back up. We'll turn again towards the bent knee, but slide your hand down the straight leg. So this nice sort of easy movement. Feel like you're like a tree in the wind. So as I then you bring your left hand to the mat, that right hand floats up. The bottom shoulder is down as the top arm stretches over. So this is enjoyable, flowing. You might make it a little easier by bending this right leg and maybe just bringing the hand to the leg and the opposite hand to your hip. So whatever you feel you can do to make it feel like maybe you're a little soft coral that's flowing in the ocean current. Feel free to close your eyes. Good. And then next time we come back up, we'll turn to the center again, so in line with the pubic bone, and walk forward. A little wiggle of the hips. Feel free to close your eyes, bring the chin in. Pressing down through the straight leg, pressing down through the shin, draw the chest forward, but subtly just above your pubic bone, draw that area up and back a little. And gently walking back and up. Good, we'll do that on the other side. Stretching out. rolling onto the top of that foot. Adjust your seated posture. Go with what feels good for you. Let's turn, not just the head and shoulders. It's really easy to turn your head and shoulders, but you can see the belly button hasn't really moved at all. So try and adjust that feeling that the belly is moving. Yeah? Use those internal muscles to lift and twist and coming forward. You might be noticing it's a little different one side to the other. You can push into your hands to again lift and turn the lower belly. Yeah. Maybe jiggle. Don't worry too much if the straight leg sit bone lifts off. Be gentle here. We're just warming up, yeah? So wiggling, jiggling, rocking, all lovely things for the spine, for the muscles as you warm up a little. And we'll walk our way around slowly but surely back to center. You'll find you won't be able to maybe be as lower down. Walking forward to where it feels good. And you can laugh at my great videoing capabilities, because I am. Yeah, there's not much in this world that we need get too worried about. Maybe except for greed, power, and domination, unfair equity, not just through humans but for all creatures and the earth. That's a little bit of a worry, isn't it? So through your center. Oh, you've probably had enough there. Let's come back up. And then we'll turn again to the side. So you bring your left hand onto your straight leg, slide it down and stretch the right arm up and over. Turning the belly, opening the chest. And floating then the right hand to the mat. And gliding up and over the left arm. Again, finding that feeling that the movement is actually coming from the strength of your legs. There's no tension in the neck. It's like even the length of your neck is coming from the strength of your legs. There's a feeling that everything you do, energy can move freely. And whatever's connecting to the earth is helping to bring lightness up through the spine and out through the limbs. So you go at a pace that suits you. You don't have to follow me. And feel free to stop these little videos whenever you like and do a little bit more and then just restart. Good, and when you're ready, we'll come back up and back through center. Oh, a little wiggle side to side is quite nice. Pressing the straight leg down, almost like you're trying to squeeze your legs together. A few easy breaths, go to a place that suits you. Good, nice work. Let's come all the way up. Okay, let's bring the feet together. Little butterfly of the legs, not to push on the knees. Yeah, I'm just resting my hands here. Maybe hold your ankles, just a little jiggle. Alrighty, so what's next? I'm going to adjust this phone a tiny little bit. Let's see if that works, because I can't see a thing. Hopefully you can see. Life's like that sometimes. Often we are the last ones to see our own stuff. Just take the legs nice and wide. So I've come up onto the mat. I've got a bit of a sticky mat, yeah. But maybe you're just on the grass, a nice firm carpet at home. But be a little less wide if you're on a carpet, because it's not as, can be a little bit slippery sometimes, the carpet. So have a look down at your feet and spread those toes. So the big toes coming in a little, and all the other toes lift up and spread out. And then there's a feeling, if you're not sure if you're lifting your kneecaps or what that means, A dear friend Gail used to say, lift up the kneecaps, which was saying, make your kneecaps smile. And if you actually bring your hands onto your thighs and relax, don't try to lift your knees. And you can feel how the legs are just a little softer. And then push your feet into the mat, firm the leg muscles, and there's a sense of lifting the kneecaps. You'll feel that these front thighs switch on a little more. And bring the hands to the hips, squeeze the elbows back, inhale, lift up. Take a deep breath in. There's still energy coming up through the legs to help lengthen the spine, and even as you come forward, it's from the strength of your legs, the lower belly lifting backwards, the chest lifting forwards, and you take a stretch to where it suits you. Prasarita Padottanasana. Extended wide stance. Forward bend. Such a lovely gift. And we'll bend the knees and push the hips forward to come up. Good, and then stepping in. Alrighty. So, I might do just a couple of standing postures and work into some work on the front thighs, the hips a little bit, and some forward bends, some more forward bends. So what we might do is come up to the front of your mat and bend the knees and come forward onto your hands and place your hands down nice and evenly so the palms are well spread, the fingers are well spread, and then step back to where your shoulders are above your wrists and the heels are above the balls of your feet. So the body is straight. It's not down face dog yet. If that's a little bit strong, instead just come into pose of the child and stretch your arms out, float the chest forward and roll the outer armpits down to the floor. So you can be in high plank or pose of the child. And just pressing gently through those palms. Now those who are in pose of the child, you can come up onto hands and knees, tuck the toes under. If down face dog is even a little bit strong for your wrists, and do little cat and cow, in which case you'd bring your hands a little further or closer towards your knees so that your hands are under your shoulders and your knees are under your hips. Yeah. So otherwise, from either cat cow, yeah, or from your high plank, yeah, we'll come up into down face dog and just stretching out the legs. Let the head go. Give it a little shake. Yeah, just stretching out around the back of the lower leg, the calf muscle. Stretching into the shoulders. Letting some weight come onto the arms. Lifting those inner thighs. Taking a few easy breaths. Keeping the weight down in through the fingers, the index finger, the middle finger, the ring finger, the little finger, and your thumb. Nice work. Now, if you're on hands and knees, you'll practice stretching one leg out and bringing the knee in towards the forehead, arching your spine up. If you're in down face dog, we'll take the right leg into the air. So same thing, a little stronger though, is taking the knee towards the elbow and stretching the leg up. So whichever variation suits you. I tend to inhale and exhale. Now if you feel like doing a little more, take that knee to the opposite elbow. If you feel like doing a little less, have a rest now back into pose of the child or down face dog. Or maybe a few breaths in each. So when you're ready, you'll come back onto hands and knees, cat cow. And we'll join then together when you're ready. Your left leg out and coming forward, knee high towards the left elbow. Or whichever arm you started with, whichever leg you started with. And if that's enough, you have a rest now, pose of the child, or feel free to do a little down face dog, and then come into the pose of the child, or go to the other elbow You can see I'm shifting the weight forward into high plank and then coming up, and let's all release. Take the feet nice and wide as your mat. Take your hands nice and wide. You can still be resting if you want, or come into a wider down face dog. Relax the head, give it a little shake. Easy breath. And then let's all bring the knees to the mat and pose the child. Good, let's walk back. And we'll come up to kneeling towards the back of the mat. We'll take the right foot in front. We'll interlock the hands behind our back. Lift the chest, buttock flesh down, squeezing that back leg buttock. As you bend the front knee, stretch the hands backwards. Now again, the feeling is like your front foot is pressing down, trying to pull back. Your back shin is pressing down, trying to pull forward. Your knuckles stretching, feel free to keep the elbows bent, whichever feels good for you. And breathing in. Oh, nice long stretch. And breathing out, let's come forward. Back toes tuck under, straighten the back leg. Back into your high plank. Maybe you feel like coming into pose of the child and having a rest. Taking a few breaths in your down face dog. And then let's all come back to kneeling. Coming up, opposite foot forward, opposite interlock of your fingers. Roll open the chest. Feel free to straighten the arms or keep them a little bent. Buttock flesh down, squeeze the back leg buttock. Keep that chest open as you float the hips forward. Again, like you're trying to press the front foot down and drag the back shin forward. And coming up. And forward. And let's come back into down face dog, or if you prefer, pose of the child, which would be this. Now your choice. You can come back onto kneeling to step the right foot forward, or from down face dog, right leg in the air, step your right foot forward. You can keep your back knee on the floor just as we did before, or push into the front foot. Energize into the back leg, buttock flesh down. So don't worry if your back knee bends, that's fine. Nice work. Let's take the opposite arm up in the air to the leg that's in front. Little Gomukhasana arms. Breathing in, breathing out. Keep the head pressing back. Keep the breath smooth. Good work. Inhaling. And with your exhalation, let's float that high arm, the left hand, to the inside of your right foot, the front foot, and come into a little twist. Shoulders down away from the ears. Push the earth away with your bottom hand. Breathing in. Keeping that front leg out of hip, drawing in. Breathing out. Lovely breath. Good. Both hands to the mat. Pressing in. So you're coming from like a one-legged, your high lunge is like a one-legged plank. So back into full plank. Back into down face dog. And maybe pose of the child. Taking a couple of breaths. And when you're ready, you can come up to kneeling or stay as you are in your down face dog. Take the left leg in the air. From kneeling, you can step the left foot forward or step all the way through. You can keep the back knee on the floor. Now I tend to come up by swinging my arms backwards. So I bring the head and shoulders above the hips. Rather than sweeping the arms up, which can be a lot more taxing on the body. So go to a place that suits you. Hands to the hips, if that's better for stability. Get your stability, and then if it suits, right arm up, Left arm behind. Energize the back leg, but keep the buttock flesh, tailbone grounding down, chest up. Breathe. Breathing, it's important. In and out. Nice work. When you're ready, the top hand still comes up. The other hand can rest onto the hip. Hand to the floor, keep the hand on the hip. Or stretch that arm into the air. Turn from your belly right through to the head. Energizing the back leg, pushing the earth away with that bottom hand. Remember your front leg out of hip, draw it in. Nice work. Bring both hands to the mat. High plank. Down face dog or straight into pose of the child. Take a few breaths. Good, nice work. Let's walk the feet forward halfway. Let's walk the hands back halfway. Bend your knees so the knees hip width apart. There is a tendency for the knees to want to drop in. So try and press your knees out and slide your hands down into Uttanasana. Shoulders away from the ears. Belly still touching your thighs, a belly like stretching like a canvas stretches over the wooden frame. Let your belly stretch over your thighs. Let the head then relax down. You're pushing down into your feet. Lifting the sit bones, lift and separate. Shoulders away from the ears, let the head go. Good, let's gently bend the knees. Keeping the chin in, push the hips forward, pressing to the earth and reaching up. Okay, little shake out. Arms and legs. Shaking, always good, always good. For a moment, bring one hand. I've got my left hand, but for you it'll look like your right hand, to my lower belly and the other hand to the top of my head. I'm gathering a feeling that the head is in line with the pelvic floor. So sometimes just with the hands in position, it can help you find some lines of energy. Another nice one is to bring the hand to the heart space. And standing tall, releasing the arms by the side of the body. Feel free to turn the palms forward if you wish. It's a really nice way to help those shoulder blades to activate. So it's working what's called the rotator cuff muscles. Maybe as you turn the arms out, feel the shoulder blades gently opening the chest. Then from your elbows down, turn the palms in. Feel like there's energy coming up and back. So we're not collapsing forward, but there's a feeling of lightness as the thighs and the groin move backwards, the hips in line with the heels. Frontal energy, all the weight of your organs are moving backwards towards your spine. I'm feeling a sense of energy traveling from your pelvic floor up the back of the spine to the top of the head. and travelling down the front of the body back to the pelvic floor. Just 3 times. Breathing in and up, awareness up the back of the spine to the top of the head. Breathing out from the top of the head down the front of the body and back to the pelvic floor. 2 more times. Nice work. Okay, let's inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, bend the knees, touch the fingertips. Inhale, step or jump, the feet nice and wide. And bring the hands onto the hips. We're going to do a posture called, we'll do a bit of a flow. What do we start with? Let's do Virabhadrasana 2, Pajvakonasana, Trikonasana, and then Ardha Chandrasana, all to one side. Now I do actually have a block here that I was using to stop a little bit of the wind sound, but I'm going to grab that block, so you might want to block. A book or something, a chair is good as well, and put it to the back of your mat, but forward of your foot, about the length of the block, forward of your foot. Okay, squeeze the elbows, nice straight legs, breathing in and out. So we'll lift the left heel, swing it out a little, and let's turn the whole right leg out to the right. So the hips have to have turned a little to the right. Leave that action. I don't mean collapse, remember. It's just a little bit of a turn. If you were to look at the angle, because you've turned your left foot in a little, you've turned your heel out, yeah. Then if you look at the angle, feel the angle of your left outer hip, it should be at the same angle as your foot. Okay, so don't let the hip turn more than the foot. It's just a little turn in. Let's stretch open the arms and breathe in, as if you're being drawn back to the left, even though you're looking over your right arm, and slowly bend, bend into that right knee. Easy breath. So shoulders are down. Feel that stretch into the back hand. Feel the press into your back foot. It's like the buttock flesh is still going down, and that energy just above your pubic bones drawing up and back. You're up and in. So keep the joey in the pouch. So Virabhadrasana 2, warrior pose. 2, Pajvakonasana, side angle. Let's glide across. Now you can just take forearm to thigh. Keep pressing into the front foot, the back leg nice and straight and strong, and turn. If you wish to go a little further, you could always use your block to the inside of the foot and use your arm to press the knee back, and this bent leg, outer hip, is drawing down and under. And stretching the arm over if you wish. You don't have to use a block, you can go to the floor, but careful that you're not coming out of the posture. Yeah. Try and keep the integrity of each of the foundations. And breathing smoothly, pressing into the front foot heel. And as you press from your back foot, feel that lovely length. Good. We'll take the top arm up and back onto the hip. Look down to your front foot and glide up into your Trikonasana by straightening the leg. Now these stances are a little bit wider or longer, yeah? So just adjust if you need to, the length of your stance. Triangle pose, shoulders down. Oh, turn the belly and chest, breathe. And then top hand to the hip. Now this is where you might want to use your block or a chair, yeah, or have a little rest. Block forward to in line with the little toe side of your foot. Take a little step so you can come up and raise the leg. So you can see here your torso, head, torso and raised leg are still in a straight line like Tadasana. This bottom leg's externally rotating, yeah. So mindful you don't drop too heavily on the inner edge of your standing leg foot. Press evenly. You might want to use a block or fingers to the earth. If you're going a little lower, can you see how the torso and head go lower? So raise the leg a little higher. So you don't have to keep that leg parallel to the earth. You can take it up. So think of Tadasana. Breathe. Now to come out of it, we'll stretch the arm over the head, bend the knee and reach back, and you'll glide. I'm just going to adjust a little so I stay in the camera. There we go. And into your Trikonasana. Pressing down through the feet so that it's not that you're leaning into your bottom arm. It's your legs that are still doing the work. And pressing into the feet as you float up. And let's come across into our Konasana, your variation, wherever you get to. And Virabhadrasana 2. And let's straighten that leg, turn the toes forward, raise the arms, and a little forward bend in between. Prasarita Padottanasana. Gently walking up. Hands to the hips, bend the knees, push the hips forward to come all the way up. Let's try the other side. So take your chair or your block from the right side, place it over to the left. Thanks for that commentary, Ali. Hala, hala. Salam alaikum. Okay, let's try the other side. So lifting the right heel, turn it a little. And let's turn the left leg all the way to the left. Hips have turned a little bit to the left, but keep your belly and chest more towards the front edge of the mat. Stretch out your arms. Feel that you're being drawn back into that right side now. And then slowly, back foot down, you're bending into your Virabhadrasana 2. Soft eyes. Strong legs. Everything in life is a mixture of all these qualities. We might call them the gunas in a universal level. The purity, the heat, and the stillness. Internally, the kapha, our constitution, our heaviness, our rajas, the heat, the movement, and the rajasic, tamasic. So there's a balance of those qualities. It's not like we're trying to just all be pure. It's the balance of the action, the movement, and the stillness that brings great balance. Let's come into our Konasana. So your choice, forearm to thigh. Easy breath. Use some support. Keep the hand on the hip if you want. Use your block or hand to the floor. Chest, keep it lifting. Over to the short edge of the mat. Turn the belly and chest. Bring that energy in the back foot to the top fingers. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Find some lightness. Find the joy. These are a little step on the path, these postures, to help keep you fit and healthy and keep the energy moving. They challenge you, don't they? They challenge the body. They challenge the mind. It's more the point. Now we'll bring the hand on the hip, look to the front foot and slide your hand up. So wherever you need to, maybe it's up to here, is your Trikonasana. Maybe you'd like to keep your hand on your hip. Maybe it's further down. But the hips are coming forward. Open the chest. Nice work. Now we'll come into Ardha Chandrasana. I'm going to slide back just a tiny bit so that I don't go out of screen too much. So from your Trikonasana, let's look down, grab your block, have your chair ready. It's to the little toe side of your foot, little push with the back foot. Don't be afraid, you can just step in. You can practice, just trying to lift the foot is enough. Energize the leg. Maybe come higher, maybe go lower, depending on where you're at. Hand on a chair, forearm on a chair. Remember, yoga's about the quality, not the quantity. Breathing. On a chair, it might be more like, maybe I'll use this bolster, but your forearms on the chair. This would be a very high chair, wouldn't it? Or maybe a bit of a lower chair. Yeah, so there'd be a sense of that support with the chair. Okay, from your Ardha Chandrasana, let's come all the way back into Trikonasana. Stepping back, big step. Sliding, gliding your hand up. Roll open the chest. Trikonasana. Just feel the alignment with your back foot through the spine to the top of the head. Collarbones to the top arm. We'll come up. We'll bend. Parsvakonasana. Wherever it suits you. Sometimes you know what you can do, but you know, it just feels better to be here. For some reason, energy, it's like, you know, that's enough. Maybe I'll just be here for now. And then we'll come up, Viratu. Again, you might think, I don't want to raise my arms. Just opening the chest, bending into the front leg, pressing into that back leg foot. That's a sign. Let's come up, toes forward, stretch the arms up, inhale. And exhale forward. Oi. Ali. Good, we'll bend the knees, push the hips forward, roll all the way up, shake your head, jiggle at the body, inhale, exhale, inhale, nice big step, or jump, and a little Tadasana. Close your eyes, feel again if you'd like to place a hand to your lower belly, or maybe your upper belly, maybe one hand to upper belly, lower belly, maybe one hand to lower belly and heart. Maybe one hand to the top of your head. Explore. I'm going to shift my feet to shoulder width or hip width apart. So you can feel the warmth, nourishing the inner body. Very nice work. Just to stop, to be still, to feel. Good, and release. Okay, let's do a few forward bends. Ollie, you're with me on this? Huh? So, I'm just turning my mat to face you. You may like to do the same. Okay. So, you know what's really nice for forward bends is often a little bit of blanket to sit on. Maybe I'll adjust this a tiny bit. Let's see how that goes. You won't believe it, but I can't see a thing. The screen looks dark. I can just see. So from here, once you've got your little comfortable seated position, okay, a little blanket, 3-fold blanket, a cushion, something. It's really good to take support, and you might ask why, you know, as if taking support somehow takes away from the posture, but it's actually really good for your spine. If you're sitting down now but you feel like your spine is slumping backwards, you know, that's opening up the little space between your vertebra. And in between one vertebra, bony section of your spine, and the next is a spongy bit of cushioning. So if you're rolling back on your sit bones and trying to do a forward bend, you're opening up all those disc spaces and it pushes the vertebra backwards. That's what we'd call a herniation, a slip disc. So it's always better to try and keep the pelvis rolling forward, yeah, so the chest is open, the spine is long. So in this way, it's not dropping backwards, it's staying or holding in. So if that's a bit tricky to sit upright, a little bit of blanket like this is just perfect. It helps you to get that feeling of rolling forward a bit on the sit bones. It's not a lot. I'm not a big back bender, but some people can just really do big back bends. So you might even have to consider just releasing down more through the buttock flesh so that the belly organs draw back. Okay, enough chit chat. Alrighty, so what will we start with? Feet together, Baddha Konasana. Now you'll have to excuse me in all my building and farm work. I've been out chopping trees today. Well, not chopping trees, but just creating some little pathways. My feet are a wee bit dirty. Isn't that terrible? Terrible, terrible yoga teacher. Hairy armpits, dirty feet. What is going on in the world? Okay, nice long stretch. Press your feet together. Feel free. I'm pulling my toes apart. I feel when I do that, it gives me really good energy to press those heels and try and separate the knees and lift up nice and tall. Good, and then release. Okay, now again, you may be on a block, yeah, because this can be a strong one, a block or a bolster. It can be a strong one. We sit on this little bit of extra height and take one leg back. So if I go to the side, yeah, my foot is just to the outside of my hip. I can slide my hand in there. Try and draw that outer ankle in and sit nice and tall. Okay, so from this position, both sit bones on the block or blanket, sometimes a little bit of extra blanket tucked under that straight leg outer hip. Reach up again. Press down through the sit bones, especially your bent knee sit bone. And then coming forward, maybe just a little. So not arching your spine backwards, lift the chest. Walk your hands forward. Some people like to bring the fingertips to the floor. A belt is really useful, so you could hold a belt around your foot, yeah, lifting the chest. Now we take our thumb into the very top, the hip crease, yeah, of that bent knee thigh, and just roll that outer hip flesh back and down, yeah, and lift. And then maybe extend a little further. This is not a posture for those who've got really bad knee pain, knee issues. And squeeze the legs together. So if this is maybe a little strong for knee people, if you like, how about you bring your foot to the outside and just sit nice and tall and maybe come into a little twist. This one's got a great name. Triagekapada Mukha Paschimottanasana. So coming forward if you can a little further. Feel free to come up and out of it a couple of times if you wish. Just give the leg a little bit of a break, squeeze the legs together, check your posture, and come forward. Maybe you can extend a little further. The tendency is the body wants to roll onto that straight leg. So having the hand on the mat, on the ground, just to press your energy back into the bent knee sit bone is really useful. Good, let's come all the way up. Now see how you go. Those who are maybe here doing a little twist, come back to neutral and just stretch out your leg. Or if you like, keep the leg bent as such. Yeah, bend the straight leg and see how you go, holding onto that shin, lifting the chest, squeezing in, or hold onto the foot and extend up. Roll forward on your sit bones. Breathing. Feel free to lean back a little bit, but I'm trying to roll forward onto the sit bones to lift the chest, shoulders down, spine long. Good. Now depending again on your legs, hips, knees, etc. Either bring the foot to the floor. This would be the easy variation. And just have a little twist. Yeah. Or take that foot like a Padmasana leg. Yeah. So the foot comes to the top of the thigh and you can twist. Either variation is fine. It's a strong position, yeah. My little knees, they sometimes love it. Sometimes I think, I'm better off just doing a little gentler variation, like bringing the foot more to the inside of the leg, or the foot just a little lower onto your thigh towards the knee. And again, a little block, a little blanket, a little support under that knee. Yeah, so it's always a way. If you can breathe, you can do yoga. Good, as you're ready, let's release and stretch out both legs. Oh, gorgeous feet. Oh yeah, breathing in, stretch up. And breathing out, come forward. Now, if you can touch the toes easy, fine. Grab the two toes with your peace fingers. Push forward through the toes and lift your chest. If that's a little strong, maybe fingertips just to the floor. Yeah? Maybe hold your legs. But again, not shrinking your spine backwards. Just a breath or two in between before we do the second side. If you can come further forward, do so. Squeeze the legs together like those inner thighs are lifting back up towards the pelvic floor. Let's press down through the feet, down through the legs to come up. Let's change sides. So your choice, little one-legged virasana, Ekapada virasana, yeah, or maybe come into just a nice little twist. Take a few breaths. Go with what suits you. Hands to the mat, extending forward as you lift the chest, not sinking the spine backwards. Again, feel free to do the variation of taking your thumb and webbing of the index finger into that top of the thigh, the groin, and the outer hip. Just roll it back and down and almost in as you lift the chest. Keep that bent knee, sit bone grounding. You can use the other hand, the straight leg hand, into the floor to keep rolling you back onto the bent knee, sit bone. You can feel free to reach forward, hold the foot. Go at your own pace. Breathe. For me, I find that tendency to roll is strong. Sometimes a little blanket tucked under your straight leg sit bone is useful. Great work. Take your time. Coming up. Now again, your choice. Yeah, maybe just bring the foot in, have a little twist, or leg up into the air, stretch it up, lift the chest. As you're ready, bending the bent knee, coming into your Padmasana variation, or foot to the floor. Yeah, you can hold the knee into the chest. Try a few little variations that you think might suit you better. If it's again too strong, yeah, better to straighten out the legs and just have a moment to yourself. Feel free, if you can, reach around to the big toe. Well, this side a little different for me, a little blanket to give the knee something to come onto. Yeah, and breathe. If I remember rightly, this is Bharadvajasana 2. Breathe. Good. Gently release. Excellent. Let's stretch out that leg. Let's stretch out both legs. Come off that block. Bring the feet back together. Take the feet actually further forward. So now I'm trying to straighten my legs but keep the feet touching. Slide your hands down. Press your feet together. Try and pull the feet to your buttocks as you lift through the spine. Shoulders relaxed. Extend a little further forward if you like. Feel free to close your eyes. Keep trying to pull your feet to the buttocks. Smooth, deep breaths in and out. Good, nice work. And coming up. Stretching both legs out. Upavista Konasana. Sliding down. Hold on to your ankles, your shins, below the knees. Use a belt around the feet if you like. Hold your big toes. Pushing the balls of the feet forward. Lift the chest. Exhale. If you like it, keep extending a little further forward. But again, not by arching the spine, not by shrinking your shoulders up around the ears. Keep the feeling that the length from the pubic bone to the chest stays the same. Press those legs down. Feel free to take the hands to the floor in front of you. It's important you find what works for you. Everybody's different. Everybody's body is so different, is so unique. You're unique. You've got to find the pathway that suits you. And that might even mean from day to day you're changing the way you practice. Sometimes go a little easier just because it feels better and you find that going easier charges your batteries. Sometimes working harder, challenging your boundaries is what gives you energy. But we're not always pushing to our boundary. Find that wisdom that says, just like the weather's always changing, we don't always work the same. You've got to find what suits you. Alrighty, little wiggle and jiggle. Got a blanket nearby, pop that under your head and lay back down. You'll bend the knees, but take your feet as wide as the mat. So lay down so that you're nice and comfortable and with your feet as wide as the mat. Just rock the legs from side to side. So it's something like this. You're probably already doing it, enjoying it, but if you're unsure, feet nice and wide. I don't have to pull my feet too close to the buttocks. Arms out to the side. I'm just rocking side to side. And see if you can also just turn the head in the opposite direction to the knees. And then when you're ready, just let the legs go. Let them stay there. Let them relax. When you're ready, rocking again side to side. And when you're ready, let the legs rest to the other side. Nice work, gently coming up. Just hug the knees into the chest. Feel free to curl into a ball if you wish. Or keep the head on the floor if that feels better. Okay, I'll bring the feet to the floor. And if you just turn towards your screen and like you're watching TV. Both knees can be a little bent. I used to watch TV like this as a child a lot. Now we'll take hold of the ankle or the foot and bring that foot behind. Now if you like, you can stretch out the bottom leg. It just makes it a little more challenging for balance. I've got a blanket under my bottom arm. You don't have to have that blanket. You might have a little blanket just under the armpit region, or you can be flat to the floor. So again, keep adjusting. Find what works for you. Now, if this is okay, you might just think, this is enough. This is really strong. You keep reaching your buttock flesh down. If you like, you can roll onto your back a bit more. So I bring the top of my toes, so where the nail polish is, onto the mat. And I start to roll my upper body onto the floor. My head, you may want a block or a blanket under your head, something like this. And you're trying to get your bent knee close to the floor. You might have to lift your hips. So you're coming into like Ekapada Supta Virasana. Hello, Ollie. And take a few breaths. Off you go, mate. Oh, yeah. Lovely stretch for the front thigh. Yeah, such nice work. You don't have to have height, but if your head drops back like this, you're better off to have some blanket or something under the head. Okay. I know you could probably stay here forever because it's such a lovely stretch, but for some of you it might be like, can we come out please? Well, the answer is yes, absolutely. You make sure you come out when it suits you. So we'll roll to one side. Yeah, and bring that foot to the inner thigh, like a tree pose. Fingertips to the floor in front. Again, you can have a roll, something under here, because the armpit here doesn't always get onto the floor for some of us. So a roll blanket, I've got a bolster there, but I'm too lazy to grab it. I'm going to pop it like this. You could have just under that shoulder area here is quite nice to have some support. So foot to the inner thigh. This is part of Anantanasana, reclined Buddha pose. I might wiggle just a little bit more this way. Yeah. So from here, you can stay, you can breathe. You could even have the foot on the floor to the inside and press the knee backwards. Or bring the knee closer to your shoulder and take hold of the big toe. Try and not roll back onto the bottom buttock. Try and stay on the outer hip of your bottom leg. Press the outer leg down and use your arm to press the knee back. And feel free to stretch up a little more if you can. Breathing. I like it without so much support under the body. So push the foot up. Yeah, so it's helping me to not roll onto the bottom leg buttock. Like I'm trying to lift the top hip away from the bottom hip, but press your bottom leg down, the outside edge of that bottom leg. It's a pretty wild stretch, isn't it? Well done. Let's release. Whoo, and roll onto your back. I'm going to change sides just so I get to do the other side with you. Roll onto your back and hug the knees to the chest. Feel free to raise the head or keep the head down. Whatever works for you. And let's release. Let's bring the feet down and turn to the other side. Yeah, support the head. Both knees are bent. It's just easier to stabilize the pelvis this way. So from here we'll bring the top knee forward, hold the foot, bring the foot behind. So I'm trying to keep the bottom knee towards the top knee, but if you like, stretch out that bottom leg foot. Stretch it all the way. It makes it a bit of a stronger posture. Whoa, it's easy to roll backwards. Whoa, it's easy to roll forward. But see how you go, trying to stay on your side. Reaching the buttock flesh down. I can just feel that inner regions of the body and the legs going, how do I find balance? Be mindful of your neck. If this doesn't suit you, another good option, head down, but usually, a little blanket would be nice. So I know you're there stretching your thigh, but you could do something like this, if that is better for your neck. Okay, so if you like then, we'll roll. You can stay where you are or roll the top of the foot onto the floor. Roll your upper back onto the floor. Move your hips if you need to. Grab an extra blanket if you want. Ah, quadricep stretch, front thigh stretch. Comfy. Enjoy this stretch. Now again, if you had a little remote, you could just pause it now, and if you want to stay here longer, do so. That will come on up, come back into the position, yeah, and bring the foot to the inner thigh. Find again the position that suits your body. Press that foot onto the bottom leg. Press the outer edge of the foot down, lift the chest. It's so easy to roll forward or back, so it's really good core strength. Now you can try and bring the knee towards the shoulder. See how you go reaching for the big toe? You can use a belt and stretching up. And if you roll, that's a good sign. It's like, yeah, you're really working towards your edge, playing with balance. You're not bothered by, wherever you get to is fine. That raised leg buttock flesh is hooking down to the bottom leg foot. Your raised leg buttock is curling down to the lower edge of your mat, the short edge. Breathing. Great work. When you're ready, let's come down. Let's roll onto our back. And a few times, hold on behind your legs, the back of the upper leg, just closer to the knee though, and swing with your feet and roll up and back and up and back. We're trying to iron out any flat spots so you're not flattening onto your back, but there's a curve. Mezzaluna, beautiful kitchen instrument. And I'm not putting too much weight on the head. Good, then when you're ready, next time you come up, hold the balance. See how you go holding your big toes. Roll open the chest. Stretch out the legs. Breathe. And boat pose. We bring the legs together. Feel free to bend the knees, yeah, so you can have the feet to the floor. Just pull back on your knees, lift the chest. You could have the shins more parallel to the floor or legs straight. Good one for the legs, isn't it? Keep those kidneys coming in. Now we'll cross the legs. I'll turn and face you. Again, sit up onto your blanket, your bolster. Sukhasana, knees coming wide, feet going out. Knees coming in, feet going out. Sitting nice and tall and extend forward. Take a few breaths. Look, a block is quite good. A little block rested under your forehead. Maybe 2 blocks. Maybe you've got a chair and you can rest your forearms on the chair. Whatever works for you. Let your mind go in, just observing all the sensations like we did at the beginning with the meditation. You're not getting drawn into like or dislike or want or don't want. Work in a way that you can befriend all the different sensations in your body. Befriending could become or is another analogy, another term for yoga. To come home, to befriend each moment. to reconnect. Let's press down through those legs. Come on up, and again, if you like, pull back on the shins, lift the chest, or take hold of the big toes. It's the biggest smile, this one. Lifting the chest, opening, stretching. You press your big toes forward, yeah, which brings you forward, yeah. But at the same time, as you push your big toes forward, lift your chest like you're subtly leaning back. Breathe. Okay. Navasana, your boat pose. Bend the knees if you want, feet to the floor if you want, and let's change the cross of the legs. And come forward. Take a few breaths. So be happy with your practice, be happy with your body. Don't be worried by how busy the mind gets and how disturbed it gets. It is a busy world, isn't it? It is a bit of a disturbed world, inside and out. That's my experience. And the yoga is just such a blessing. So thank you to all of my teachers. Thank you to all teachers from all times, past, present, future. These teachings are simple. You don't need anything really special, just to stop and to feel and to be present and to acknowledge and to let go. Keep letting go. And press the legs down to come up. Now I've got a little YouTube one on, I said Shavasana at the start of it, but really it's Yoga Nidra, isn't it? And the posture is Shavasana. So if you'd like to go to the little session now for your Shavasana, feel free. Otherwise, look, at least just a few minutes. It's the icing on the cake. Lay down, take a few breaths, totally relax, and just soak up your good vibes and all the beauty in this world. Much love. Thank you for being present. Just a little heads up. I'm not earning any money as such, and these videos are free. So if you ever feel like donating, feel free to go onto the website. I've got my bank details there. But do what makes you feel good, okay? Much love. Thank you. Namaste.